Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Finally, after 7 months of fighting in Ukraine, the Russians are coming up with the total number of their losses, personnel. There are some other figures provided by their enemies, and they never came with one since I think March. I think they came with about 1,000 some in March, and that was it. And since then we relied, if we can call it that way, on the Ukrainian reports, and they provide us with the Russian losses, then sometimes with the British or US reports, and now we have it straight from Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister. So let's see. This article comes from Reuters, and from the September 21st, 2022. This is the title. Russia calls up 300,000 reservists, says 6,000 soldiers killed in Ukraine. Russia will draft 300,000 reservists to support its military campaign in Ukraine, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Wednesday in televised remarks. In Moscow's first update on casualty numbers in almost 6 months, Shoigu said 5,937 Russian soldiers had been killed since the start of the conflict. Now, always look at details and always look at the words. Words have meaning, obviously. So when they say 5,937 Russian soldiers, they don't deny that there's more casualties on the front with Ukraine, which means these are probably, military, that's it. But it's not only the Russian military who fights over there. It's also Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, those Russians that I think they are just supported by the Russian troops. I don't think this is the real number. Just to cut the crap from the very beginning, I think it's much more than 6,000 people. But I'm just saying that whenever you analyze something like this, you make sure you are certain, okay, that's all that you got, all the casualties on your side of the fence that resulted from the invasion, all of them, and he's not going to answer that question because he has to say how many Russians from the provinces, from the territories died, how many mercenaries, how many military contractors died, and other people that are involved in that they will not disclose. So this is okay, only that? No, it's not only that. This is just one portion of many more that he's not mentioning, but he doesn't care for the other ones because he's the defense minister. So he for the US not yet. Never actually. The Russian army, right? President Vladimir Putin had ordered Russia's first mobilization since World War II in an early morning television address, saying the additional manpower was needed to win a war against not only Ukraine but also its Western backers and sponsors. Shoigu dismissed assertions by Kiev and the West that Russia has suffered heavy losses in its 7-month campaign and said 90% of the wounded Russian soldiers had returned to the front line. It was the first time Russia has given an official death toll since March 25th, when it said 1,351 servicemen had died. The US Pentagon said in August that it belief is something that is not based on facts, if you remember that, necessary, so it's you think. So you either know or you don't know in this case. But nevertheless, they believe between 70,000 and 80,000 Russian personnel had been killed or wounded, and in July estimated Russia's death toll at around 15,000 people. Shoigu said Russia had 25 million potential fighters at its disposal, and I totally agree with that. You can calculate that by looking at the population, divided into, let's say you get old population, old people, put it straight, and kids, and remain with women and men, which would be women and men, which would be about 70 million. If you divide that by 2, and you get to what, 35, about 35 million only men, let's say, half, right? Then from that you get able, disabled, and so on. You get to 25 at least. So I think that the number is accurate. All right, now. The decree published on the Kremlin's website said the call-up would apply only to reservists with previous military experience. Shoigu said that this means around 300,000 men. He said they would be given additional training before being deployed to Ukraine. And that they would not include students or those who are currently serving as conscripts. And I'm quoting, "These are really those who have served, have a military specialty, that is a specialty that is needed today in the armed forces, who have combat experience. Those who are serving under conscription, it doesn't apply to them either," he said. "They are not subject to any mobilization and direction for the special military operation. Our conscripts also continue to serve as they did on the territory of Russian Federation." Shoigu said the mobilization would help Russia consolidate territories it holds behind a 1,000-kilometer, 600-mile front line in Ukraine. So they don't have an intention to advance, to consolidate whatever they got so far, their gains. Moscow says it is waging a special operation to demilitarize its neighbor and rid it of dangerous nationalists. Kiev and the West, as Russia is mounting an imperialist campaign to conquer a pro-Western neighbor. The pro-Western until 2014, when they overthrew the pro-not Western. Okay, that's how it was. Now it's pro-Western. It's on their payroll. What do you want them to be? Okay, to imperialist campaign to reconquer a pro-Western neighbor that broke free from Moscow rule when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Well, okay, well, this is it. 6,000 people, military, Russian military, according to Shoigu, perished in this war, were killed. And the other one says now about 80,000. Okay. The Ukrainians say about 55,000 killed. Now, I don't know, those are all together, obviously, as I said, I'm going to use this term, mercenaries, Russian army, volunteers from the territories, volunteers from overseas, foreign fighters, however you want to call the rest of them. I think the 55 would be more closer to the exact amount than 6,000. But as I said, Shoigu said just 6,000 U.S. military, Russian military. So he didn't say how many more others died. But I don't think that 6,000 is accurate either. But I can't, challenge that because I have no reliable reports. The other guys believe that it's between 70 and 80,000 who are wounded and killed. Well, I don't go by beliefs. Okay, I believe I am fantastic. So, beliefs are as they are. You can claim whatever you want based on what I just did. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.